Success starts with one step forward. The rain had just stopped in New York City. Street lights flickered on puddles scattered across cracked sidewalks, each reflection shimmering like broken glass. To a passing stranger, the city was alive, neon signs humming, yellow cabs honking, steam rising from the grates. But for Ali, none of it mattered. He sat on the cold stone steps of a crumbling apartment building, his jacket damp from the storm. In his hands, a crumpled letter trembled. His eyes, hollow yet restless, scanned the words again and again. "We regret to inform you that your application has been declined." Another rejection. Another door slammed in his face. Ali had left Pakistan with fire in his heart. He wasn't running from poverty, his family back home lived modestly, but comfortably. He was running towards something, the dream of America, that great promise of reinvention. He wanted to build something of his own, to prove that his life could mean more than just survival. But America wasn't giving him open arms. It was giving him walls. The first step. That night, drenched and broken, Ali thought of giving up. Maybe he'd call his father tomorrow and admit defeat. Maybe he'd buy a ticket home, return to the small shop his father still ran, and accept his life for what it was. But then, from across the street, he saw something, a delivery man balancing 3 heavy boxes, struggling up a flight of stairs. No one helped him. People passed by, eyes glued to phones, rushing into warm apartments. Something inside Ali stirred. He stood, crossed the street, and without a word grabbed the top box, helping the man carry them up. When they reached the door, the man smiled. "Thanks, brother." Not many stopped to help anymore. Ali nodded, forcing a weak smile. But as he turned back toward the rain-soaked city, a strange realization struck him, that small step forward felt different than all the failures. It didn't fix his problems, but it lit a tiny spark inside him. The grind. The next morning, Ali forced himself out of bed before sunrise. Instead of scrolling through rejections, he put on his worn sneakers and walked. Just walked through Chinatown, through Harlem, through places where stories spilled out of every corner store and stoop. He found a job within days, not in an office like he had dreamed, but as a dishwasher in a diner. It was brutal work. Grease clung to his clothes, steam burned his arms, and his manager barked orders with no hint of gratitude. But it was something. One step forward. At night, he studied. Free YouTube courses, borrowed books from the library, tutorials on coding and business. He was exhausted, but he kept going. He told himself, every step counts. Every dish scrubbed, every page read, every hour spent, it's all forward. The setback. One night, after a double shift, Ali was walking home when it happened. A mugger cornered him in an alley, demanding his wallet. Ali hesitated, clutching the only $40 he had left for the week. The man shoved him against a wall. Ali's heart pounded, not from fear of losing money, but from shame. After all this struggle, was this what America had for him? He gave up the wallet. The mugger disappeared into the shadows, leaving Ali shaking, his pride stolen more than his cash. For the first time in months, tears burned his eyes. He wanted to scream at the city, at the sky, at himself. But as he limped home, he remembered his mother's words back in Lahore, even the longest road is just steps put together. The breakthrough. Weeks later, while bussing tables at the diner, Ali overheard 2 customers talking about a startup competition downtown. Winners would receive mentorship, resources, and a small grant to launch a business idea. He froze. Could he even dare? He had nothing, no connections, no money, no polished resume. But he had one thing, an idea. For months, while washing dishes, he had thought about the people around him, immigrants, delivery workers, cab drivers, men and women who worked endlessly yet had no platform to share their skills or find better opportunities. His idea was simple: a community-driven app where immigrants could trade services, recommend jobs, and support each other in ways the system didn't. That night, in his tiny apartment with peeling paint, Ali wrote a pitch. His laptop was second-hand, the Wi-Fi weak, but his determination fierce. He stumbled, rewrote, failed, rewrote again. When competition day came, Ali stood before a panel of suited investors. His hands shook, his accent thickened under pressure, and midway through his slide deck, the projector crashed. The room went silent. For a split second, he almost bolted. But then he remembered that night in the rain, the boxes he had carried, the first step he had taken. He took a deep breath and spoke from his heart. "This is not just an app," he said. "It's a lifeline. I know, because I needed it myself. Success doesn't start with money or status. It starts with one step forward. That's what I did. And that's what I want to help others do." The twist: he didn't win first place. He didn't win second, either. But something unexpected happened. After the event, a woman from the audience approached him. She was the daughter of an immigrant cab driver, now working as a product manager at a major tech company. She shook his hand and said, "You may not have won, but I believe in this. Let's build it together." For the first time in years, Ali felt the universe crack open just enough to let him through. The climb. Months turned into a year. With her guidance, Ali's app took shape. They worked out of coffee shops, borrowed Wi-Fi, and lived on ramen noodles. The app launched modestly, but word spread quickly among immigrant communities. Taxi drivers shared it. Grocery clerks downloaded it. Soon, stories poured in of workers finding better jobs, mothers trading babysitting for tutoring, families connecting to opportunities they never imagined. Investors began to notice. Grants followed. The little app that started in Ali's mind while scrubbing dishes now had offices, employees, and most importantly, impact. Ali still remembered every rejection letter, every insult, every night he wanted to quit. But now he also remembered that small, rainy night, the moment he stood up, crossed the street, and carried a stranger's boxes. Years later, Ali stood on a stage, not as a dishwasher, not as a rejected immigrant, but as the founder of a company that had changed thousands of lives. Cameras flashed, applause thundered, but he wasn't thinking of the lights or the money. He was thinking of that first step. Success, he told the audience, his voice steady, doesn't begin with victory. It begins with courage. The courage to take one step forward when you're scared, when you're broke, when the world is telling you no. That one step can change everything. It did for me. And it can for you. The crowd rose to their feet. And in that moment, Ali knew, he hadn't just found success. He had found himself.